Good day guys, this is again Professor Haggard, and today we are going to discuss about critical value. So this is in continuation sa naging discussion natin about correlational analysis, and that's why I thought siguro this is a very important topic. Shout out nga pala sa aking kaibigan na tumulong sa akin during the times na nahihirapan ako for this particular lesson. So shout out kay Sir Benito Abarsaldo. And also to those who are new to this channel, please do not forget to click like and subscribe. So check this out guys. Okay, so last time natapos po ang ating vlog with a table of critical values for persons R. So I was thinking na bitin naman siguro kung hindi ko na lang din i-continue yung pagdi-discuss, especially kung paano gamitin yung table of critical values for persons R. Lalong-lalo na pwede po itong gamitin specifically for correlational analysis. Alright? So, this lesson will be all about correlational analysis pa rin, but we are going to use critical value. So, without further ado, what is a critical value? So, in hypothesis testing, a critical value is a point on the test distribution that is compared to the test statistic to determine whether to reject the null hypothesis. So, sa madaling sabi, sa pinakasimpleng statement, let me give you an example. So, let's just say, nagko-compute ka ngayon ng correlational analysis or nagko-compute ka ngayon ng person correlation coefficient. So, based na din sa kung anong na-discuss natin about correlational analysis. So, tapos ka na ngayong mag-compute. So, you now already have yung tinatawag nating test statistic value. Alright? So, ngayon, hahanapin natin yung critical value. So, i-compare natin yung answer mo sa critical value. So, kung mas malaki po ang ating correlation coefficient and mas malaki kaysa sa critical value, we can now accept our alternative hypothesis. And we can reject the null hypothesis. Which lead us to the statement that if the absolute value of your test statistic is greater than the critical value, as I was saying, you can declare statistical significance and reject the null hypothesis. Ibig sabihin ng statistical significance, if you're studying about two variables, given na mas malaki yung correlation coefficient mo, for instance, kaysa sa critical value, you can conclude that there is indeed a significant relationship between two variables. And because of that, you can reject the null hypothesis. So, based on our previous discussion, yung null hypothesis yung magiging subject for hypothesis testing. Kaya, ang nare-reject is the null hypothesis. Right? So, in other words, kapag na-reject yung null hypothesis, maaari natin accept yung alternative hypothesis. So, going back to the same situation na ginamit natin for correlational analysis last time, ito po yung situation if you are going to study this table. You can conclude that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 participants in this particular study. And last time, we weren't able to create hypothesis or null and alternative hypothesis for this following situation. So, ngayon na lang. So, we have our null hypothesis for this situation. Is equals 3. Ibig sabihin, the average daily time spent by students in studying is equals to 3. And then the alternative hypothesis, kabaligtaran naman, the average daily time spent by students in studying is not equal to 3 hours a day. Okay. So, in this particular situation, nalaman natin that the person's correlation coefficient is equals to 0.99. Okay? Di na lang natin babalikan kung yung process ng pag-solve because magiging napakahaba na po ng ating pag-vlog. Alright? So, anyway, you can go back or you can visit my channel for you to watch that video about correlation coefficient. Alright, so let us proceed to how to determine or how to find the critical value. So how to determine the critical value of persons R? The first step would be determine the number of participants. So based on the situation given just a while ago, meron po tayong 8 participants. And then we have here, we also need to determine degree of freedom. So we have n minus 2. N is for the number of participants, which were 8. So constant value po yung minus 2 kapag degree of freedom ng critical value for persons R ang pinag-uusapan. So constant value na palagi, or constant value minus 2. And we need to know whether the alternative hypothesis is one-tailed or two-tailed, di ba? In our previous discussion, nalaman po natin na yung alternative hypothesis yung dapat tingnan para malaman kung one-tailed or two-tailed ba yung hypothesis testing na gagawin. Then, we need to decide the level of significance. The level of significance is, para mas madaling intindihin, is related sa tinatawag nating confidence level. So, ibig sabihin, for example, we have 0.20. By the way, yung level of significance is arbitrary. Ibig sabihin, it's the researcher's choice kung 0.20 ba, 0.10, 0.05 yung pipiliin niya. Right? Just remember na ito ay related sa tinatawag nating level of confidence. So, kung 0.20, if you're going to convert that into percentage, that would be 20%. So, kabaliktaran, that you are 80% sure, parang ganito, parang 80% sure ka na merong relationship yung dalawang variables. Alright? So, kung mas maliit yung level of significance, mas malaki yung confidence level. Alright? Na, para sa'yo, mas malaki yung confidence level na merong relationship yung dalawang variables. And then, after this will lead us to using the table of critical value. So now, gagawin natin, the participants are 8. Diba? So given that the degree of freedom is n minus 2, we will now subtract the number of participants to the constant value minus 2, so which gives us 6 as our degree of freedom. And the type of hypothesis test based on our alternative hypothesis na ginawa natin just a while ago, that would be two-tailed, di ba? So, significance level is 0.05. So, saan tayo kumuha niyan? That is arbitrary. Ibig sabihin, it's our choice. Okay? Just remember, just bear in mind na it will also reveal kung gaano kalaki yung confidence level ng researcher, okay, on this particular variables. So, meron na tayong mga given information na pwede natin gamitin upang magamit natin yung table of critical value. Tandaan. So, we have degree of freedom, 6, and we have two-tailed test, and the significance level that we chose is 0.05, meaning 5%. So, this is the table of critical value. So, pwede din kayong maghanap, pwede kayong mag-download, meron din kayong mabibiling libro para dyan. So, but for this particular table, I found it in this source. So, pwede nyo i-download. So, and I will also put the link just under this video in the description box para mas madali sa inyo ang pagda-download. So, we have the degree of freedom for this particular situation, 6. Diba? And we determine that the level of significance is under two-tailed test, and our exact level of significance is 0.05. So, parang multiplication table lang sa likod ng notebook nyo. Hanapin lang natin kung saan sila mag-i-intersect. So, we have it here, and 0.05 is in there. So, which gives us 0.707 as our critical value. So, now we have the critical value na i-compare natin sa ating person's correlation coefficient. Okay. So, which leads us to this situation again. So, ang mangyayari is that if mas malaki ang ating correlation coefficient kasi sa critical value, we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. But, on the other hand, kapag mas maliit yung correlation coefficient kesa sa critical value, we can accept the null hypothesis and reject the alternative hypothesis. Alright, so based on previous discussion, yung magiging subject ng hypothesis testing, yung talagang iti-test is yung null hypothesis. Kaya palagi po tayong nagsisimula sa null hypothesis. Alright, so we have the correlation coefficient 0.99 and we are going to compare that to our critical value which is 0.707. So tingnan po natin kung saan mas malaki, yung 0.9 ba o yung 0.7. So of course, ang mas malaki of course is the correlation coefficient. So tama na sabihin that we can reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis. So yan po yung ating conclusion. So to make it clear, because that is our conclusion, that there is indeed a significant relationship between the two variables, namely the hours spent in studying and the physics final exams. Pero kung nangyari baliktad, na nangyaring mas malaki po yung critical value, we can conclude that there is no significant relationship between these two variables, the hours spent in studying and the physics final exam score. Alright, so that is all about critical value. So before ending this blog, let me give you points to remember. So before you can find the critical R value, you must first compute the value of your test statistics. So bago mo hanapin yung critical value, mag-solve ka muna. Whether it be a correlational analysis o kung ano mang statistical analysis. So that's it guys, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for visiting this channel. Ito nga pala si Professor Haggard giving you few information, maliliit o konting mga impormasyon upang mapalawak po ang ating karunungan. That's it and God bless.